Hi, my name's Lauren Sapala. I'm the author of the INFJ Writer, the INFJ Revolution, and I've been a writing coach for over 7 years, mostly coaching INFJ and INFP writers. I'm teaching a course this November called Intuitive Writing, Everything You Need to Know to Never Outline Another Novel Ever Again. And because I'm teaching this course, I've been talking to the people on my email list, talking to people on social media, all about intuitive writing and trying to answer what is intuitive writing and who is an intuitive writer. This video is actually video 3 in a series on intuitive writing. So if you haven't seen video 1 and video 2, I do urge you to check them out. They're on the same page as this video, just scroll right down. The first is all about what is intuitive writing, and the second is who is an intuitive writer and how to get into that intuitive space and stay there, which is a really big problem that intuitive writers deal with. In this video, I want to cover another problem that intuitive writers deal with. A problem that isn't really talked about because a lot of intuitive writers, number one, don't even realize what a deep problem it is for them, and number two, don't know how to talk about it because they might feel embarrassed or foolish. And that's the worry and shame that come along with being an intuitive writer. Now, what do I mean by that? What do I mean about worry? Let's start with that. When you are an intuitive writer, there's not a lot of support out there for what you're doing, and there's not a lot of information on the process. So what we do is we look to the information that is available, which is usually how to go about rational writing methods, using outlines, writing scene breakdowns, plot points, story arcs. I know NaNoWriMo is coming up and a lot of people are doing a lot of planning and preparation. What am I going to write every day? Where is this chapter going to go before I write it? That kind of thinking in advance and logically planning things out. That doesn't work for intuitive writers. When intuitive writers start to feel weird about their process or about how slowly they might be producing, or that they feel very emotionally attached to their ideas, the worry sets in, and then they start looking around for information. How can I become a better novelist? How can I write stories faster? How can I prep for NaNoWriMo? There's nothing wrong with prepping for NaNoWriMo if that's your thing, but for a lot of intuitive writers, NaNoWriMo actually is not their thing because intuitive writers tend to write more slowly. So this worry sets in, this comparing ourselves to others, which is something that INFJ and INFP writers have been doing from a very early age. And so it feels familiar. The looking around and observing, which intuitive introverts are very good at, what are those people doing? Why are they doing that? How is that working for them? Why isn't that working for me? Oh, I'm different. I'm different in this way that is almost impossible to verbalize, but I see the difference. I can feel the difference when I'm observing what these other people are doing that I'm not able to do. So the INFJ or INFP writer might have writing friends or be in a critique group that they find some facets of it helpful, but then other facets tend to aggravate that worry. And they just are observing. People are doing this so differently. They are outlining and they're outlining successfully, or they're writing 50,000 words in a month and they're totally excited about it. And that's really hard for me. My outline is falling apart. My outline feels stifling. Halfway through November, I feel like I ruined my novel and I don't want to push forward anymore. I'm feeling resistance. I feel like I might want to cry. I feel like I just want to eat a bunch of cookies and do nothing. Like all of these sort of destructive behaviors set in because we feel so much worry that we're not doing it right. Like I said, this is a familiar feeling for us because INFJ and INFP people are a very small slice of the population. So most of us grew up in homes where we felt from day one we were not doing it right. Maybe we had parents that told us we daydreamed too much, or we weren't grounded enough. We didn't concentrate on the important things. Maybe we did well in school, but we didn't feel connected there. So the grades, the good grades we got really didn't mean anything to us because they felt not connected to anything deep or meaningful. We've always been on this quest for meaning when most of the people around us, in our family, in our social circles, in our workplaces, seem to be on a quest for status or achievement, climbing the corporate ladder, buying the house, security. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with buying a house or climbing the career ladder in your job if that really makes you happy. But for a lot of INFJ and INFP people, that doesn't make us really happy. So pushing out 4 novels a year, being super productive, and mapping out the plan to being a best-selling author, some of that sounds okay. We do want to connect with people. We do want people to read our work. We do want to finish things. But the intention and the energy behind it don't really land with us. So we are used to feeling out of place. We are used to feeling like we are doing it wrong. We need to push ourselves harder. We need to kind of fit ourselves into this little box that has never really fit us. So that worry around our creative process feels so natural to us, a lot of times we don't even clock it. We don't say what's behind this worry. Is it accurate? Is that real? Should I be doing it like everyone else is doing it? We just go right into it because, oh, this is how it's always been. Something's wrong with me. And that leads me to the shame piece. Now, worry is that we are not doing it right. Shame is more of a feeling that we are not right. Not that we are not doing it right, that we are fundamentally wrong. Something is wrong with us. Again, we felt this from a very early age. INFP and INFJ people tend to be intensely emotional people. We get very strongly attached to people. Our relationships are everything to us. If there's conflict in a relationship, if there is conflict in our interpersonal world, that affects us so deeply. It can paralyze us. You know, our first heartbreak might have taken us years to get over. If we have a conflict with a friend, a falling out with a really close friend, that can affect us, again, also for years. If we get in a fight with someone, the rest of the week we'll be thinking about it. Our entire lives we've been told by people, you know, get over it, you're too sensitive, you need to toughen up, like no one else is this attached, you're too attached. You fall in love too quickly. You fall in love too easily. You are too connected to what other people think about you. You're too sensitive. You're too thin-skinned. We've heard all of these things and we've internalized them. So when we realize that for some reason we can't seem to be successful writers, we don't know why that is. We are using these methods that everybody online says works, and everybody in our critique group uses, and no one else seems to be having the problems we're having. This like constant frustration, this not able to finish anything, this inner turmoil about it, this very deep distress that we can't even really talk to people about. That shame piece is triggered and makes us go even further underground. I've actually worked with clients who have stopped writing for years because of this. I myself stopped writing for 7 years. I had a creative writing professor in college who told me, you're just not very good. You should find something else to do. It would be a waste of your time to even pursue writing. And that completely shut me down for 7 years. And when I told people about that later in life, they're like, wow, 7 years is a really long time. Why didn't you just get over it? Or like realize she was kind of a jerk? You know, that's obvious. It's not obvious to INFJ and INFP people. We take things so deeply to heart. We really listen carefully to other people. We really absorb the intent of their words. We really absorb their emotions. So that shame piece is huge for us. It's not something that we can get over quickly. So what do? If you've gone into worry, you've gone into shame, you've stopped writing, or you're making these attempts at writing, but you're feeling horrible about it, and you want to get out of that. You want to get back to how you felt as a writer probably when you were very young, where writing was this delicious, playful, fun thing you did. Writing was a space just for you. Writing was personal. It was intimate. It was meaningful. It was that same feeling of falling in love with a person or a place. Like, yeah, I'm really connected to this. This brings me alive. This feeds my life force. This nourishes me, it nourishes my heart, and I can feel that, and it gives me more power as a person. How can I get back to that? That's what everyone wants to know. How can I get back to that? If I've gone into this worry and shame spiral, I'm not writing very much. So one of the number one things you can do is to find other intuitive writers and to learn about the methods of intuitive writing. A community or a coach can be invaluable because it's someone else mirroring back to you your own experience. And they are like you. They're having the same experience. Because that's another thing. INFJ and INFP people, and writers especially, tend to think that we're crazy. Our whole lives we are making these observations and coming to these conclusions, and we can see the patterns clear as day. But when we share those with other people, the mainstream population, they don't get it. And sometimes they say, you're crazy. How did you make a leap from here to here? Or you're very, you're scattered in your speaking, like you're connecting these dots that I don't see. So we're always questioning ourselves, like, am I crazy? Do I have ADD? Is something wrong with me? To have our experience mirrored back to us from another INFJ or INFP person who says, yes, exactly, it's like that for me too. This part, this dot, I'm connecting them with you. Someone to witness you spilling out your dots and connecting them, and who gets excited and says, yeah, that's how I am. That can really push INFJ and INFP writers towards a stage of growth as artists that they've never been to before, because they've never had that support in their lives. Part of the course I'm teaching in November, we will have a private Facebook group going on. It's going to be a very small course. I've had people emailing me so far saying, hey, I want to be in the course right now. I already know this is for me. Like, just put me in there. I really want to keep it fair because I did a lot of deep thinking about this, and I want it to be a very small group. So that we can all get to know each other, and that I can have one-on-one time with everybody as well, because the course is going to include a 1-hour coaching session with me individually. So I don't want anyone to feel like they didn't get enough time or they didn't get to know everyone in the group. My hope for this is that we'll all come out of this class with some lifelong friends. Like, it's going to be one of those experiences where you say, wow, I'm so glad I did that, because I met so-and-so and I met so-and-so and that led to this and it opened up this new road in my life. I've had experiences like that in classes and retreats and workshops, and I really want to bring that experience to the people in my class. So the class is going to be very small, and I'm only going to open up registration on it for a few days. So look in your inbox. Keep an eye on your inbox. I'm going to be opening up registration on October 30th. And to make it fair and to keep it fair, it's going to be first come, first serve. So whoever gets there, and when the spots fill up, they fill up. There's not going to be much I can do. I can't squeeze in anybody extra because I've really thought about the number of people I want to be in it, and it's going to be small. If you have any questions, any comments, you want to talk about intuitive writing, this is hitting home for you, you just want to learn a little bit more about it, please feel free to email me. I'm at writecitysf@gmail.com. That's writecitysf@gmail.com. I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love to hear your concerns and any questions you might have about the course or just about intuitive writing in general. So I will see you in just a few days when I open registration. I'll be sending out another video at that time. Thanks so much for watching, and happy writing.